Alright, hello. Hey, so today we're going to be talking about the book I read in February of 2025. And that is The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. So if you watched the January version of this video, when I wrapped up what I read in January, I read 5 books in January. I read 1 in February. And at the beginning of the month, I was in like a really weird place. I couldn't figure out what I wanted to read. And I had a couple of different books like picked out. I had set them on my desk and I never picked them up. I never touched them, so I brought them back up here. And I decided I'm just gonna tackle The Wheel of Time. I have wanted to read The Wheel of Time for years. Mom has asked me to read The Wheel of Time for years. If you know me, if you've listened to me talk about books or movies or anything, you probably know that I have a thing for Lord of the Rings. I'm really big into Lord of the Rings. I love fantasy books in general, but I'm really, really big into Lord of the Rings. I'll put that back there for now. And this book series felt like, before I started reading it at least, it felt like it should be an easy step for me to go from Lord of the Rings to The Wheel of Time. I've read The Lord of the Rings 3 or 4 times all the way through. I always loved reading Lord of the Rings. From the first time I read it, I was like, okay, I really love this series. I loved the fantasy aspect. I loved the fellowship and like the journey to vanquish evil. And it's an epic fantasy series, right? It's 3 books. So I thought I'll tackle The Wheel of Time, and I don't know what I thought it was going to be like, but I did not think it was going to be anything like what it is. The Wheel of Time so far, or I guess I should just say the Eye of the World, is the very first book of a 15-book series, and it is indeed an epic fantasy. And this is like 657 pages. I finished it today. It took me a month to read this. The first 100-ish pages of this book were really difficult for me to get through. It was a long time coming to like get the story going. And I will say it kind of gained momentum throughout the book. So by the end of the book, it felt like, okay, now we're moving. But it definitely felt like it was really slow to start. I hope the second book is not the same, because I was 70 pages into this book and I didn't know if I was going to finish it. I was ready to put this down at 100 pages if it didn't get better, and fortunately by 100 pages it was more interesting and I was invested in the characters. So I'm trying not to give spoilers. I am probably going to have a spoilery section of this video, but for the non-spoilery section, there is a lot of adventure. There are some fantastical creatures. There are so many characters in this book. In this book alone. I wish I had like started a journal, like a reading journal when I started this book, just to list out all of the different characters that we meet. Some of them, I don't know if we're ever going to meet again. Some of them, I hope we meet again because I enjoy them. They start, or the author, Robert Jordan, started a bunch of storylines that are kind of like threads, which is kind of interesting because the whole concept of the Wheel of Time is like time weaves a pattern with people's lives, which are like threads. So anyway, I just thought it was interesting that he kind of started some storylines that I'm like, I wonder where this is gonna go, you know, because it's 15 books. I know it's not gonna end there. If it did, I'd be really disappointed. I will say this, and then we'll go into spoilers because I can't help myself. I enjoyed this more than I thought I would, but it took me longer to get into it than I wanted. And I'm going to make my point about The Lord of the Rings here just to kind of round this out. So I was thinking The Lord of the Rings is considered like a difficult fantasy series for people to get into. and it is this long. So this is the whole of The Lord of the Rings, and I have read this 3 or 4 times and loved it. It's very dear to me. The Wheel of Time is 15 of these, and this is like half of this. So I just want to put this into perspective for you, because if you're like me and you've not read The Wheel of Time before and you don't know what to expect, putting it into this kind of perspective, The Wheel of Time is going to be massive. It's going to be huge. I have a feeling my life is going to be changed forever having read this series. I don't know yet if it's going to be like a favorite series, but I can tell you right now, I like it, and I'm glad I've read book 1. So I'm glad I'm on this journey. I'm glad I've started. I can't wait to start book 2. But if you're struggling to, like, if you have started The Wheel of Time and you started with book 1 and you struggled to get through the first 100 pages, same. So anyway, that's going to conclude my non-spoiler section of this video. If you have absolutely no interest in reading The Wheel of Time and you want to listen to me talk about spoilers, feel free to stick around. If you've read The Wheel of Time and you're not going to be spoiled, you can stick around. But if you're like, oh, I want to get to that series and I don't like spoilers, don't watch the rest of this video. I don't even know how intense these spoilers are going to be, but I want to talk particularly about 2 events. So the first one is the Gleeman, Tom, dying or fighting the Fade and in Whitebridge and dying ? Here's my theory, and I don't know because I don't know. I haven't read the series. I don't know. I don't think he's dead. I don't think Tom Marilyn is dead. And I think even Moraine in this book says she doesn't think he's dead. I think she said that to like make them feel better. Maybe it's true, but somehow I don't think he's dead. The other thing I want to talk about, and this is kind of, I don't know, this is definitely a spoiler. And I hate to brag about this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I saw the love story between Lan and the Wisdom, all along. I saw it, and honestly, I don't hate it. I kind of like it because I feel like they'd be good for each other. I don't know. I really liked the way they fell in love with each other because I feel like it's based on mutual admiration, like begrudging admiration as opposed to lust. You know, it's not like, wow, he's so good looking, I want to marry him. It's, I never wanted anything to do with him or men in general, and yet I think a lot of this person because of the way that he is, and now I want him in my life. And I love that kind of love story. So I know this is not going to be a love story. However, I'm hoping there's a little bit more to that storyline. And I don't mind the tension, but I want to talk about some of my favorite characters. Actually, I just want to talk about some of the characters. So, our main character, Rand, and a lot of the names in here are kind of complicated. There's a lot of vowels and some apostrophes in the middle of the names. His name is Rand al'Thor, and I think he's just kind of a foolish kid. At the beginning of the book, in the first 70 pages that I keep talking about, I kept thinking, this kid is a fool, and if this is our main character, I don't know that I'm going to make it through the story, because he's so dumb at the beginning of the story. He doesn't even realize that he has a crush on this girl. And the way he describes his feelings about his love interest is almost like he's like a really small child. I don't know. It's weird because I'm like, does he not understand what it is to have a crush on a girl? I liked him better by the end of the book because it kind of felt like he grew up a lot over the course of the book. But I still don't know that he's my favorite hero, like book hero. But I don't think it's going to be a problem for the rest of the series. I think I'm going to be able to like suspend my disbelief and believe that he's the main character of the series. At least I think he's the main character of the series. My favorite character so far is Moraine. And I love her. She's capable. She is calm. She is smart and wise and clever and patient and powerful. And I admire all of those qualities, and I love the way she was written. And I think this is supposed to be her right here on the front cover. So she's like tiny, right? Compared to this guy, which I think is supposed to be Lan. So if this is Moraine, she's itty bitty, she's little, and yet she's powerful, and she's meant to be feared. And I think it's really cool because like a lot of fantasy books, Lord of the Rings included, they're also guilty of this. They don't have a lot of strong female heroes or strong female characters that you grow to love and you get to see throughout the book or throughout the series. A lot of times female characters in fantasy books or epic fantasies like this, a lot of times the female characters are written as fearful damsels in distress and not so much the hero or the savior or anyone wise. And to have 3 in this book alone, I really appreciated how the female characters were written because not one of them is a clone of the other. They're all unique and distinct. As far as the boys go, Rand I kind of talked about. Perrin, Dark Horse. I didn't think I was going to like him that much because I kind of thought he was boring because they didn't talk about him much at the beginning of the book. He's like top 5 character for me. And I know there's 8 in the party, you know, but like Moraine is number 1. Perrin might actually be top 3 because I really liked him. I think Lan is number 2. So Moraine, Lan, Perrin. And a lot of why I like him has to do with his storyline about like the wolves. I didn't see that coming. I've never seen that in another book where like somebody can talk to wolves and communicate with them. I thought that was so cool. The way it was written. And then like the other wolf guy, Elias, I liked him too. The other boy, Matt, I don't like him at all. I wondered when they were in, I think it's called Shale Ghul, I wondered if he stole the dagger because they never mentioned that he dropped it. And I feel like they tell you those kinds of things. And he kept acting so weird. And then I told my mom, because I was like in the middle of reading this and she was asking me, she's like, where are you? And I was like, I think Matt is being poisoned. And she just casually said, he is. And I was like, I think he's being poisoned by the knife. And she said, he is. And then like not 10 pages later, we discover that he's being poisoned by the dagger that he stole from Shale Ghul. So, is it Shale Ghul? No, it's not Shale Ghul. It's gotta be something else. Shadar Logoth. There's so many places and names in here. I really wish I'd started a reading journal. Anyway, it's too late now. I'm not gonna reread this just to do like a reading journal. Maybe I'll start one with the second book. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I'm just gonna kind of wrap this up here. There's a lot of stuff that happened in this book, and as I was flipping through trying to find the name of that place, Shadar Logoth, I realized that I had forgotten all about the Tinkers. I mean, there's a storyline that Perrin and Egwene went and stayed or traveled with the Tinkers, and I thought that was really cool. And then the guy at the end, he's not a guy, he's a Ogier, Loyal. Ooh, he's number 4 of like my top 5 characters for sure. Like, I just really enjoyed him because like he just wants to pet the cats and read the books and then go see the forest, and I'm like, yeah, me too. You know, I just want to pet the cats and read the books and go see the forests. As far as recommending this book, if you're into fantasy go for it. If you've got time to kill, if you are not in the middle of anything right now, like I'm not, I really wanted to read this series, so I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna read the series, but I do not recommend buying these new. This book is listed on the back. It says US dollars $39.99 or $55.99 Canadian. I paid $14.99 used. So see if you can buy used books. I got mine at a local bookstore called Bright Light Books, but I also bought some of the series from Better World Books. I think that's it for what I read in February. I read this in February and I enjoyed it. It wasn't what I expected, but I liked it. And I'm looking forward to reading more. The second book, I have the dust jacket here because I already stripped the book because it's in my bag because I'm going on a trip. So the second book is called The Great Hunt. I don't know what to expect from this book because I have a feeling it's not going to be at all like the first one. The dust jacket, the blurb says, "For centuries, traveling gleemen have told the tales of the great hunt of the Horn. So many tales about each..." Oh my gosh, wait. Okay, hold on. Something just clicked for me. So many tales about each of the hunters, and so many hunters to tell of. Now the horn itself is found, the horn of Valir, long thought only legend, the horn which will raise the dead heroes of the ages, and it is stolen. Okay, hold on. These are like my genuine reactions. Rand, the farm boy, who is thought to be the dragon reborn, the leader long prophesied who will save the world, but in the saving, destroy it. The savior who will run mad and kill all those dearest to him refuses to accept his fate. Yeah, so that's not shocking. Rand is supposed to be the dragon reborn, and he doesn't want anything to do with it. At the end of the first book, he's decided he's going to run away. Rand fiercely denies his power. He will have none of it, no matter what Myrddraal and Trollocs, Aes Sedai, and Dreams stand in his way. But with the horn, another object is stolen, a dagger from the terrible ruins of Shadar Logoth. Unless the dagger is recovered, Matt's life is gonna end. Unwillingly distrusting everyone, Rand is drawn into the hunt. Okay, I guess we can see that coming. As Egwene, the innkeeper's lovely daughter, and Nynaeve, the young village wisdom, set out for Tar Valon's White Tower, seat of the Aes Sedai, Rand and the Ogier Loyal... Oh, we get to keep Loyal! Cool! Accompanied by Perrin, who was once a blacksmith, track the horn and dagger through Shienar and enter a world stranger than time itself, but Rand cannot escape his power. The Dark One is stirring, the Dark One wants the horn, the Dark One wants Rand. See, this dust jacket claims that this book, Book 2, is at once a continuation of The Eye of the World and a novel complete in itself, written with all the warmth, excitement, and epic strength that distinguished the first volume of The Wheel of Time. Cool. Okay, so we get to keep some of our characters. It's nice to know where they're going. I'm looking forward to reading this one. I'm taking it with me on my trip. Okay, so they recovered the horn at the end of this book, and then it's stolen in the next one. Fascinating. So then Rand and Perrin have to go find it, because with it is the dagger that is preserving Matt's life, and without the dagger, because we learned in the last book, Matt can't be separated from the dagger that he stole from Shadar Logoth. That's all I'm going to say. I know I talked a long time. I'm going to go. I'm done talking. Thanks for hanging out with me while I talk about one book for like 30 minutes. But I had a great time, and I hope you enjoyed yourself. I'm going to go edit this video, and you guys will see me in another video really soon. Bye!